The interview question, why did you leave your last job, is one of the hardest questions to answer correctly. In fact, this is one of those interview questions where lots of people end up failing at their interviews because of how they respond. Now, if you have a job interview coming up, make sure you stay tuned because I will teach you exactly how to answer this difficult interview question. And please do make sure you subscribe to this channel. I am on a mission to help you to pass your interview. I can only do that if you are subscribed. And please make sure you smash that like button because that tells me you find all of the content I'm creating useful and it motivates me to create more for you. So this is what I'm going to cover to help you answer that question correctly. So I will explain why the interviewer is asking you the difficult interview question, why did you leave your last job? I will show you 3 examples of how not to answer this interview question. I will then give you an example answer, a brilliant answer that will guide you on how to pass your interview. And I will then give you further interview training resources you can get access to help you succeed at your interview. So why is the interviewer asking you the question, why did you leave your last job? Well, people leave their jobs for all sorts of reasons. However, if you have left for negative reasons, the employer may think twice about hiring you. So we need to be really careful how we respond to this question. So first of all, let me give you an example of how not to answer the interview question, why did you leave your last job? Here we go.
Why did you leave your last job?
I left my last job because I didn't like my manager. I felt that he only gave certain people in the team opportunities. I was never given opportunities to progress, and I basically worked on the same projects day in and day out. And that used to irritate me, and I thought the best thing for me and for my employer was for me to leave, and it was the right thing to do. So yeah, even though it pains me to say it, I didn't particularly like my manager at all.
So I am sure you will agree that that was a poor answer to that interview question, why did you leave your last job? My body language was poor. I was negative overall during my answer to the question, and I was disrespectful about my manager. So if you are negative about your former boss or the lack of opportunities you had, you will probably not get hired. Let me give you another example of how not to answer the interview question, why did you leave your last job? Here we go.
Why did you leave your last job?
Yeah, I left my last job because basically it was, I would say, a toxic environment in the team. There were some people who I didn't like. I didn't feel they were very good at their jobs. They were negative all of the time. And being a positive person, I wanted to be in a more positive environment. So essentially I left because it was toxic. And I've spoke to some people since then, and they've told me that it's got worse at that organisation, so it was the right thing to do.
So that was another poor answer. My facial expressions were negative. I used negative language. I talked about a toxic environment, and I clearly held a grudge against the team that I was a part of. So here's one more example of how not to answer the interview question, why did you leave your last job? And I will then give you a brilliant response to it to help you pass your interview. Here we go.
Why did you leave your last job?
I left my last job, if I'm being honest, because I asked for a pay rise and it was refused, and I felt I was worth a lot more than I was being paid. So, I felt I used to contribute a lot to the organisation. I was worth a lot more. I mean, okay, fair enough, I'd only been there 6 months, but, I felt I was worth a lot more than that, and that's why I left.
So once again, that's an example of how not to answer that difficult interview question, why did you leave your last job? Again, my overall demeanour was negative. I demonstrated that money was a big motivator for me at work, and that's not a good thing when you are trying to pass a job interview. And I clearly felt I was better than everyone else in my team, which wasn't good. So here's an example, a great way to answer the interview question, why did you leave your last job? Here we go.
Why did you leave your last job?
I left my last job because I was ready for a new and fresh challenge with a different organisation. Now, my employer was brilliant. We achieved so many great things together that I was very proud of, and they were very supportive in my decision to move on. But I left because it felt like it was a natural progression for me in my career development. And to move on to a different organisation was the right thing to do because I knew that I could develop and progress so much further.
Thank you.
Now that was a much better way to answer the question, why did you leave your last job? I was positive about my former employer, and I believe that's critical to you passing your interview. Always be positive about your former employer. I spoke fondly about the team that I was a part of and the things that we had achieved, and I said I wanted to leave for genuine reasons and that it felt like the right time in my career progression to move on. So that's a great way to answer that question. And I didn't focus on any particular element of leaving. I was pretty short in my answer, and that's a good thing, but you could see that my overall body language was positive. So if you'd like to pass your interview at the first attempt, the next thing to do is click that link in the top right hand corner of the video, head through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can download my full set of 21 great answers to tough interview questions. It's a brilliant resource. You can have it within your inbox within 2 minutes from now, and it will help you to pass your interview. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and I wish you all the best for passing your interview. Have a brilliant day.